Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of Creating a New World, the show about the 12 Visions world, a world of wealth, health, peace, love, and freedom that you can help create. I'm your host. My name is Bill Hunsiker, and I'd like to welcome my co-hosts for today's episode. First of all, I'd like to welcome Harry Dolgen. Thank you for coming on the show, Harry.
Oh, happy to be on. Hello, everybody. Hi, Sage.
Hey, Harry. I'm glad you made it.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to welcome Sage Katakura.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, Sage.
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. I'm excited to be here.
So on today's show, of course, first we talk about the 12 Visions world. And to start that up, we're going to start with a reading of the list of the 12 visions. And I already arranged for Harry to do that, so go right ahead, Harry.
Okay, this is the 12 Visions party, the 12 Visions, set out by Mark Hamilton. Vision 1, become the person you were meant to be. Vision 2, live the life you were meant to live. Vision 3, feel extraordinary every day. Vision 4, slow down aging permanently. Vision 5, land the job of your dreams. Vision 6, build the business of your passions. Vision 7, experience the love of your life. Vision 8, have the body you've always envied. Vision 9, become a genius of society. Vision 10, have everything you ever wanted via the free-to-soar geniuses and super technologies. Vision 11, ride a prosperity wave to riches via falling prices and soaring buying power. Vision 12, enjoy nearly perfect health via soaring medical technologies and falling prices, and those are the 12 visions.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I wanted to mention that if anyone wants to learn a little more about me, I was interviewed on a podcast called Everyone's Agnostic, and you should be able to find that by searching for Everyone's Agnostic, or if you use iTunes, you can probably subscribe to the podcast and find out how I got to where I am now, pretty much. Without any further ado, we'll go on to this segment. The topic of this segment will be the Neothink Society. Excuse me. The Neothink Society is basically formed by, inspired by Mark Hamilton and formed by readers of Mark Hamilton's literature, including the 12 Visions, which is the basis of the 12 Visions world. And really, the purpose of the Neothink Society now is to help people break free from the world we're living in now, so they can see the possibility of a future free of initiatory force, the 12 Visions world. And as we transition to the 12 Visions world, the purpose of the Neothink Society is going to be to continue to help people break free from the original world, and also to help them become self-leaders so that they can go on to prosper, and even prosper now as we go toward the 12 Visions world. And once we have the 12 Visions world, the Neothink Society will basically just will probably move into education and help future people grow up with that mindset and those skills, so that they can prosper in the 12 Visions world.
Yeah, I think the Neothink boils down to me as an organization just has awesome tools, key concepts that help individuals become independent and take self-responsibility. And when you talk about the 12 Visions world, a world free of initiatory force, that's a world where it'll naturally come to where people who are taking self-responsibility naturally will like to they would it's a world they would like to have, because they would be given that free reign to do what they know they can do. And the awesome effect from that, which is really not hyperbole, because there's facets in history that all support this, but you eliminate that restrictions on individuals that are taking responsibility and doing what they're born to do, also just being free, and the standards of living for everybody else are affected for the positive. That's what we're talking about here. So it's not a kind of a pie in the sky. It's not kind of a utopia type vision or anything like that. And I just that's why I love that concept, and I love what Mark Hamilton identified and is trying to just promote.
Yeah, I mean, since I'm the new man on the block, I just want to address this conversation to tell people who are watching the show or play the retape that they can just Google Neothink, okay, and Google 12 Visions Party. But do not believe any of the scams out there. We're not a sect. We're not Scientology. You got to try to get through all the illusions of what some people say about what Neothink is and what the Neothink Society is all about. Okay? Don't listen to other people. Do the research yourself. Read about it. Go into the 12 Visions website and look out, see the platform and look at it for yourself. Don't listen to other people. Because me being the new man on the block, I was very skeptical when I first found out about it. But
Yeah.
it's a beautiful new mind type of thing, and people, they have to read it and be educated. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
And it'll make you happier, I think. I just know that it leads to a lot of tools that can help you in your life. That's it. So take a look. Thank you, Harry.
Yep.
Yeah, the main idea here is that it's about removing obstacles, removing things that block you from doing and being what you want to be. And also the idea that everyone needs everyone else. The 12 Visions world will be a world of cooperation, of people, working together to make things better for themselves and for everyone else. And the Neothink Society will help people by giving them the tools to do that and helping them remove any mental mental barriers that prevent them from doing that. It's all about, go ahead, Sage.
And I just want to point to real examples of like Jobs. He practiced a lot of things, a lot of concepts within that literature, and he's referenced a lot in the Neothink, from the Neothink Society, the literature within that organization. Same with Bill Gates and Henry Ford and Harvey Firestone, James J. Hill. These people are real people that have that are practice those same things, and there's kind of methods to their madness, so to speak, and they're in Neothinks. The Neothink Society is just like organized those and is trying to give them to people so people can capitalize on them, like you said, remove limitations in a fast way so that they can become who they were meant to be. It's really cool stuff.
Can I play devil's advocate for 1 second, Bill and Sage?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, because my wife brought this up too. Isn't Mark Hamilton, he's the founder of the Neothink Society,
Correct.
Isn't he making tons of money selling books and literature?
He is.
Why is Neothink, how come, what makes it so different than any Scientology or any other organization that's making money by selling books and that type of stuff? What makes it different?
Bill, I don't know if you want to take a stab at that.
you can go first.
Okay, I think, I've thought about that a lot, and I know Mark Hamilton's done other projects, for one thing. Besides just making money selling books, he has done, I hear he's working on a major movie right now, and he has
really?
created that Skywalk that's in, I think, Wyoming or close to there, Nevada maybe.
No, it's in Arizona. It's
Arizona.
Grand Canyon.
Explain that. Explain what Skywalk is.
Yeah, the Skywalk is a bridge. It's a beautiful awesome attraction in the Grand Canyon, in, like Bill said, in Arizona, that Mark Hamilton designed and produced with other people to provide an attraction that people can go to in the Grand Canyon, walk out. It's built on the side of the Grand Canyon, and it's this big horseshoe that goes that you can walk, made out of glass. A lot of portions of it are glass, so you can actually see right below you. It kind of freaks me out just talking about it. And you walk out onto that horseshoe, and you can see straight down, and be in the Grand Canyon, get that real effect that you couldn't without it. And he developed that. So those are just some accolades that or accomplishments he's done outside selling books. But he to manage the book business also and grow the company in the literature, it's kind of interesting. He writes how he made such success, managing a business and organizing it to create the wealth he did. And for me, I have my own company. I sell stress balls, promotional products. I've applied some of the same concepts, some of those same key concepts, and they've helped me so much cut through the clutter and realize things that I would have realized on my own, but he had it already codified in this information amazingly well. But I've proven that it does work in different industries, and I'm continuing to prove that it works because there's nuances and there's actual application that is hard to apply sometimes. So there's that, but basically his selling books, he has sold a lot of books. He manages the business that way. He has a lot of his data in there of what he's the systems he's used to distribute more books in his literature, and you can use that. You can use that and see for yourself if it works, if it applies to other things. So that's all I can do to defend.
Okay.
Yeah, from my side, also just the fact that there's a money back guarantee.
Okay.
If you don't find the book that you purchased to be valuable or worth the money you paid for it, you can return the book and get a full refund.
Okay.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, it's not a scam in that aspect that, he's not selling books and then disappearing like a lot of people, or just selling a bunch of books and then, you have to go fly through hoops to get your money back if you decide that this isn't right for you. I mean, in addition to Scientology, there's also the self-help gurus like Bill Robbins, who go around the country giving big seminars and making tons of money and selling books, and and that may help some people, but to me, it's each person decides for themselves what's valuable to them and what's not. And if you don't, and also to me, it's up to you whether you want to invest in yourself by making the purchase. It's your choice, and I'm not going to tell anybody you have to do this. It's your choice.
Yeah. Right. And I don't know too much about Scientology myself, so I can't compare it so much to Scientology. I know basic things that I've heard. Well, and even I want to say even some concepts in Scientology can help. Like I heard of Dianetic energetic cleansing, and I heard from a very wealthy millionaire who's done businesses in so many other fields, infomercials, vitamins, all these things, and he said that's very powerful energetic clearing techniques to kind of help your health. If you scientifically, it can help not cleanse, but rid yourself of energy blockages, ultimately holding you back emotionally, physically, and mentally. So
interesting.
Yeah, to me, that's it's all perception. but the point being that inside, I mean, I actually in the way back in the 90s, I read Dianetics and
Oh, okay.
actually kind of thought that there may be something to it.
Interesting.
So there was like a postcard coupon in the back, and I filled it out and sent it in, and got a letter in response and said, yeah, we'll help you. It's only $50 an hour to help you. And unfortunately, I was poor, so I didn't get sucked into that. But I haven't seen any recently, but for 10, 15 years after that, I still got stuff in the mail saying, you know,
Interesting.
do you want to join us? But the point is, you know, it's very possible that what they're doing helps people, but the problem is that they tacked on this religion full of crazy ideas.
Right. And religion, that's where neothink is. Neothink has, it states multiple times, there's no dogma in neothink.
Right.
It's about no fixed concepts almost. There's concepts that work in reality, but there's no binding thing that you must think a certain way, or they're just tools that you can apply. They're all modular.
Yes.
And
Okay.
you can interchange
Yes.
them. So it's just a book of tools, pretty much.
Okay,
And
so
you choose-
neothink is new thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But new
Neothink,
thinking, and if somebody comes up to you and it says, explain
yeah, what's new
really
thinking?
what neothink, yeah, what do you mean by new thinking?
What is new thinking?
What's your answer? Yeah.
The
What do you
definition
tell them?
in the literature, yeah, sure. If you read the literature thoroughly, the prime literature they call it, which is like the main segments of literature in the neothink society, it talks about that it's a way of thinking that is advanced over the main way of thinking that we've come to today. Through our history of being human beings on Earth, we're uncovering an evolution of thinking kind of faster and more accurately, and it's possible for people to do it. And I don't even want to say just more accurately, like dry like that. I think it's a way that Mark Hamilton writes, our brains are meant to think. If we remove personal mysticisms, which are accepting outside influences that are getting in our way as excuses, real excuses. I'm sorry, like mysticisms would be thinking about some outside influence controlling you. And instead, when you take full integrated responsibility, 100% responsibility on everything that's happening in your life, you get to a point where you're thinking at a very rapid pace. It's not only speed, it's a whole new color. It's going from black and white to Technicolor, you know?
Well, how are you thinking? I'm not understanding. How are you thinking?
You're thinking in pictures.
Neothink.
You're thinking in pictures, yeah. Like Einstein wrote, I believe it was him, it was thinking in concepts, not a lot of different individual percepts. Like how we think, if you watch yourself.
Give me an example.
Yeah, if you look at yourself and watch your thoughts during the day, which I do, you can see if you're going thought by thought by thought by thought, you know, just single thoughts, maybe up to 4 thoughts at one time if you're really busy. That's I think neothinking. They're all percepts. I mean, that's not neothink. That is just regular thinking. And you're just thinking, like an example, I have to do this today. Oh, and this person said this to me today, and it made me feel like crap. But it reminded me of this person, and this person. I remember that time I went out with this person and did this with that person. And those are all fleeting thoughts. They're all thoughts, right? They're valid thoughts, but they're all percepts. And just like what a concept is when you take a lot of those thoughts and find common denominators within them, and group them together into a concept that holds together. And it's like he wrote in the book, it's like just this simple concept of gravity. If a person walking along the beach sees the waves crash on the beach and sees the tide roll back into it, and sees the birds flying, and sees kids throwing a ball in the air and the ball going up and coming down, some common denominators that you can actually pull from there is gravity. And most people would just say, oh, the waves look nice. It's a single thought. and then oh, look at the birds flying. That's another single thought. But the conceptual mind can grab that together and realize, oh, gravity is at play here, forcing the waves to do what they do, taking that ball up and down. Those birds are flying, and with that concept, which holds true to a certain, in a lot of fields, the gravity is affecting us. You have a lot of power there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
no, go on, go on.
You're pulling a lot of thoughts together and seeing commonalities and integrating them.
Integrating them into useful concepts, and those concepts can they're leverage. It's like doing rather than dealing with 5 weak thoughts, you have one that it's like trying to collect seashells on that beach with your hands. With holding, trying to manipulate all these individual thoughts, and then getting a bag. And the concept just like grabs all those thoughts in a neat bag and keeps them together nicely. So you can, it's a tool. So you can, go about your day on the beach with a bunch of seashells. I know that's a kind of a very abstract example, but
no, explains it well. Explains it well to me. Okay.
Yes. So basically, Neothink is tools and ideas that allow you to build those concepts together to move towards something you want to accomplish. And in your mind, you look at it as a puzzle. You take this idea and this idea, and you fit them together, and then you find another idea, and you fit it together with the first two ideas. And Neothink shows you ways of doing this until you have a huge idea, either a business concept or an idea of how the world should work or how the world could work better. And all of these ideas come together. And the important thing about the main topic we're discussing here, the Neothink Society, is it's not just Mark Hamilton. The Neothink Society is a collaboration of many people who have read Mark Hamilton's literature and developed their own perspective on it. And as far as dogma, there is no dogma because there's no unity of understanding of what these concepts mean. It means something different to everyone.
Okay.
It does, and it's just tools. It's just a bunch of tools, and everybody applies them differently.
So we're not all sitting here saying, Mark Hamilton says this, so we have to do this. No, we're saying Mark Hamilton has shared some great ideas with us, and we're all incorporating those into our own ideas separately and individually, and therefore and applying them to our life to help us to live a better life and be happier and accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Okay, one more question in that regard. I know the answer to this, but Mark Hamilton was the founder of the Neothink Society. Why isn't he out there more in public? Why is he so anonymous like the Phantom?
One thing,
explain that to people.
Yeah, there's a couple of points.
Yes,
that I think, and I thought about that at length. I've spoken to Mark Hamilton on the phone. I know people in the society. Yeah, and
I have too.
And so has Bill. He was there with us. And there have been other people that have been physically in the same room with him to meet him. And he is a man, and he puts his pants on one leg at a time, I heard,
like all of us.
Like all of us, really. But it gives him, if you read his literature, he writes specifically there. And if you've seen him on his mentor videos, because he's done videos, his personality seems to be, and his writing and what he's accomplishing in the small amount of time he has, I think that work, if you've ever done really, it's amazing literature. His work is amazing. And if you've ever done work and exerted yourself, I know that it takes focus, concentration. And I think that he's really kind of separated himself so he could produce this bedrock that society, not a society, but like that could really change the world. And he's very clear about what he's trying to do. He's trying to change the world, removing initiatory force. And I think that he to do that, that's one reason he can be so busy. Also, all his literature is about self-leadership and promoting self-leadership, and the tools are there. People have to take them up and start using them. And I've seen so many people, they're looking for answers, they're looking for direction, and that's what he's talking about when he says mysticism, looking for outside of yourself solutions to things, when you have to tap into yourself to get that chain react, that awesome power that we all have. And he's done it. He's done it himself. He didn't have a society to go to. He's doing what he knows works. So we have that same road to go to, and I think there's no two ways about it. You have to get to that self-leadership, you really have to self-lead and break through your own limitations. And what's he going to do? Yeah, he can help. His mentorship videos are there. He's very strategic in his thinking, and his strategy, I think, goes along those lines. And you can, if you apply those the way he has, you can train yourself and get the job done while he's working on accomplishing other things. He's trying to think on a big picture angle on not getting down and being like a clubhouse leader, because we were trying to do clubhouses throughout the country as little network points for the NeoThink members to meet. You didn't see him do that, and he's thinking obviously he didn't think that would work by doing that, and his personality isn't great for that. He's playing to his strengths to win, like a football coach would do, and I think he's staying behind the scenes coordinating people and producing more work so that the people he's coordinating can ultimately win. And that's my thorough understanding of it after reading and knowing people.
How much of the fear factor is affecting him? Because we know that his father, Dr. Frank R. Wallace, was killed jogging in the morning. Now, we don't know if it was by accident or, it was somebody was planning that. But how much of that?
Unfortunately, we do live in a world where if someone disagrees with you, they're gonna use initiatory force, which includes falsely prosecuting you, which includes up to and including actually killing you if they disagree with you enough. But to me, the main point here is not that he's afraid. The main point is that it's the NeoThink Society, not the Mark Hamilton Society.
Okay.
He doesn't want to be a leader. He wants all of us to be self-leaders.
Okay.
And it developed me so much because I didn't have a person. You wait on leaders. When you have a leader in place, it helps to a certain extent. It really does. I understand that. But you can also really get comfortable at little nuances you don't pick up. But when you have to lead, it could, and when the literature's there, so he has led in a sense. The literature's there. You can read it again. You can watch his mentorship.
He's leading through his ideas, not through being there telling everybody what to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Because he doesn't want us to be a bunch of followers who just follow in lockstep and go, yes, Mark Hamilton, we're going to do what you say. No, he wants us to take the ideas and tools he's given us and use them ourselves in our own way. And he doesn't want to be there telling us, looking over our shoulder, constantly telling us, how to use these ideas. But then that's not what us being self-leaders is. That would be us being followers.
Yeah.
But is there a fear factor on that?
Yeah, Harry, that's a good question, and thanks for bringing it up because I forgot to address that. But it's who knows? Who really knows except that Mark Hamilton and who's talked to him personally. But if I can imagine so, yes. Well, from what I've heard, he is careful about how he initiates the public and things like that because of what happened with his father and what happened to them that he's written extensively.
Not only with how his father died, but also what happened to his father during his life, because his father was really aggressive with the main ideas and concepts behind NeoThink. His father was basically, his concept was Neotech, which basically said, we have these ideas, people are using these ideas to hurt people. We have to stop them. That was Dr. Frank R. Wallace's approach to this. So he was aggressive. He got out there. He put himself out there. He was trying to stop people from hurting other people, and he was persecuted and prosecuted for it.
He spent time in jail.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
They came to his house and ransacked his belongings and
yes.
Beat up a secretary or something along those lines, or something similar to it, which he's written about.
That's
wow.
Wow. I mean, it's just like anything else in this world. If you reach a point where enough people disagree with you, they can dishonestly prosecute you. And the way those things work now, people show up with guns and they make you, and they, if you resist, you could end up dying, first of all, and then they make you stand there while they go through all your belongings, and then they confiscate stuff. If nowadays they take your computer and look at everything on it and everything. I mean, that's the kind of world we live in.
And he's talked about that in his literature, and so I think how much it affects him, and there's a fear factor there that plays into it. But he's a very strategical thinker, so he's incorporating that integrating that in his decisions, and
he's not only concerned about himself, which obviously and understandably he is. He's also concerned about the effect that would have on the rest of us, because we all think that this is a positive, this is a good thing, that it can be very helpful to people. But if he were to be, for instance, convicted of fraud and sent to jail, that could have a very negative effect and could actually stop people from becoming interested in the Neothink Society, in what we all agree is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
So that's an aspect of it right there. That's
the head of anybody talking about strategy. Take out the head of the snake, they always say.
Right. Chop off the head. Yep.
The Phantom, it gives you that, it neutralizes that major military tactic of going for the snake's head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's smart in that sense. So
I think both of you, it's important the questions I've asked you, because people just tuning into the show for the very first time are going to be scratching their head and wondering, and they see everything that's out there on the internet about Mark Hamilton, the Neothink Society. It's a scam. It doesn't work. They want to make money on books. So it's important that you discuss that. And
you're a great interviewer, Harry.
These objections.
You're a great interviewer.
I'm the new man on the block, everybody. These guys are long-time thinkers. So thank you for that.
The thing is, neo-thinking also, it's written that you do it since you were a kid. So it's not something it's something you have to remember more. So along the lines, it's not, and rediscover. It's not new information that you need to the newest age thinking that just came out 5 years ago or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Interesting. Very good.
And this information has been in development for over 30 years.
Yeah,
it's not like something he just wrote up last week and sent out, or a few years ago. And most of us have been involved for a long time. I've been involved for 11 years now, and been aware of it for even longer, for more like for 18 or 19 years. Been aware of it.
Yeah, me 2.5. What about you, Sage? How long have you been working?
Well, since the Society, 2007. Since 2007. But it's not the time. It's not like those religions, they took years, thousands of years to disseminate and create patriarchal society structures to disseminate the information in a very slow process. It's very solid, I think, but it takes so long. But what we're doing is, it doesn't matter that you are newer, Harry. Like Jesus was born, let's say, just using him, I think he was a Neothink individual. Some of his concepts were very open-minded, especially against what he was facing back then.
Yep.
And in the Neothink literature, you'll find the essays on that fact that he could have been a very individual thinker, a neo-thinker really, and he didn't have to go through the society. He wasn't there for years. He went into the desert, they said, for years on his own, searching out, making his own cognitions, realizations, his own self-honesty. Maybe this is me speaking, kind of my perception, but the fact that you're here 2 years, you could be neo-thinking more than Bill and I. It's not because it's not me. Oh, I have more seniority than you.
Yeah. That's important. You let people know that. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a reality. It's not a figment. It's not a creation of some man-made thing we're trying to make and get people into and start to create an organization.
And the point is, we're all equal in our desire to learn and grow,
and to make the world better.
Yes.
Right? But we could be neo-thinkers and we don't even know it. Is what you're saying? There's people out there that.
Well, there are people that have succeeded without the concepts and ideas of neothink.
There are. That's true. But when he cites Steve Jobs, James E. Hill, Jack London, Harold Janine, I don't know how to say his name, but these are real-life examples of people that use concepts. Henry Ford, they had concepts that you read in the Neothink literature that are codified for helping individuals, and they use those concepts. So it's kind of that gives a lot more validity to it, and I'm seeing it in my own life.
Okay,
so Phil,
Harry, I'm sorry. We're going to go. We're going to go. No, we're going to close this discussion. It's been an excellent discussion,
really,
and it's run sort of long, so we're going to have to once again skip. Where's the Force?
Hey, I missed that last week too.
Otherwise, we'll end up with a 90-minute, 2-hour show. So we're going to move on to the next segment, which is creating the 12 Visions world, and we're going to open up, as we've started to do in the last 4 or 5 episodes, with the reading of the Prime Law. I have it right in front of me, but if anyone else would prefer to do it,
Okay, I have it here, Bill.
Yeah, go right ahead, Sage.
Okay, the Prime Law, the fundamental of protection. Preamble. The purpose of human life is to prosper and live happily. The function of government is to provide the conditions that let individuals fulfill that purpose. And the Prime Law guarantees those conditions by forbidding the use of initiatory force, fraud, or coercion by any person or group against any individual, property, or contract. There's 3 articles to it. Article 1. No person, group of persons, or government shall initiate force, threat of force, or fraud against any other individual's self, property, or contract. Article 2, force is morally and legally justified only for protection from those who violated Article 1. And Article 3 is no exceptions shall exist to the first Articles 1 and 2.
Thank you, Sage.
Sure. What's the Prime Law? So what? You read the Prime Law. What's the goal of the Prime Law? What does that mean?
I just want to finish with the footnote.
Okay,
Go right ahead.
The Prime Law is the fundamental natural law of protection that directs all decisions and actions of the 12 Visions Party. In this context, I'm reading from the 12 Visions Party website. That's in parentheses. You don't even need to. That's in context with this site, and is not open to amendment or change. What is it? It's a natural law of protection, a fundamental natural law of protection, and it's kind of, if you operate it in this way, it yields certain results.
And it is also a way of creating a legal structure that removes initiatory force from society.
That's what I want to hear.
And this is a 10-second a concept that just came into my head as I was thinking about it right now. And that's what it is in essence. It's a way of creating a legal structure that removes initiatory force from society.
Right, and it's the only thing I've ever found that identifies initiatory force and prohibits it. And
so how are we going to get it out there?
And
how do you plan to get it out there?
It's
the
also
people.
so simple that anyone who really thinks about it can understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
So how do you get it out there?
well,
What is the
inspiring.
Neothink
There's so
Society
many
can do?
ways. There's so many ways.
That's what we're talking about in this segment of the show.
And we've
That's
done it in events. You're doing it in this show, right?
right, and that's the main purpose of the 12 Visions Party, is to bring this idea forward, this idea of a society of no initiatory force.
That's what I want. That's what I want to know.
And any thoughts you have, Harry, to spread the word better or faster or in a more competent sense? It's an everybody's open to it.
No,
Nobody's holding you back.
we have to use the stimulations of this world to get it out there. How do
Yes.
people market in this crazy world we live in? By word of mouth, by internet, talking to people, self-promotion, all that.
And
Yeah, we have to get people's attention. That's
Yeah.
the basic idea.
Absolutely.
Now, we don't demand their attention. We're just trying to, get their
deserve it, deserve it. People will, attention goes where it's deserved, in a sense. And
so we're going to go ahead and read the next section of the Constitution. I'm sorry, the platform.
Is that the Constitution? Is that like the Constitution?
No.
It's not. It's a platform.
The platform is a statement of the purpose of your organization.
Okay.
Especially a political organization.
Okay.
The prime law is more like the Constitution.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So obviously you can hear that my throat's bothering me a little, so I'm going to ask Sage if you have it queued up. If not, we're on page 33.
Okay, got it.
And the section titled Justice.
Okay, awesome. Justice in America was once based on the rule of rational law, on the nearly flawless U.S. Constitution. American justice guaranteed the conditions for freedom, prosperity, and peace. Although the U.S. Constitution nearly eradicated rule of man, power-seeking man steadily adapted like a virulent virus or resistant bacterium. The rule of man, an elite ruling class, began overtaking rule of law. This ominous resurgence of the rule of man in America coincided with the fall of prosperity in America. Agenda-motivated politicians increasingly replaced objective law with agenda law. Politically motivated judges increasingly replaced objective blindfolded justice with subjective ego justice. And politically ambitious bureaucrats increasingly replaced protection-only regulations with political policy regulations. That steady attack on the rule of law, that steady rise of the rule of man in America, drove freedom, capitalism, and prosperity to the point of collapse. Furthermore, the great technological revolution cannot take hold in a country going deeper into the rule of man. Therefore, the great technological revolution cannot rescue America from her severe fall into recession and depression. But the great technological revolution can rescue Americans who emigrate to Hamilton, America. For Hamilton, America has no rule of man. And because of the prime law, Hamilton, America could never regress into rule of man. Therefore, the great technological revolution comes to Hamilton, America, and only to Hamilton, America. The people quickly grow wealthy as their buying power multiplies 100-fold and more. The prime law of protection is the missing integration that would have protected and preserved the U.S. Constitution from rapidly adapting rule of man and would have prevented the decline of America. With the prime law, as an amendment to the original U.S. Constitution, Hamilton, America delivers pure justice and freedom. The nation booms, the people prosper, the individuals soar. Never before Hamilton, America has a land existed with pure justice and freedom. America came close and enjoyed unrivaled prosperity before falling at the hands of socialistic rule of man. In Hamilton, America, politicians, judges, bureaucrats do not govern. The prime law governs. Therefore, political agenda law, subjective ego justice, and political policy regulations cannot exist. The people live in natural, protection-only law, protection-only justice, and protection-only regulation. That rule of flawless law justice system creates the conditions for the freest, safest, most prosperous land in the history of the world. Those conditions of pure justice and freedom give rise to the great technological revolution that makes all people rich, including the poor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing stuff.
I mean, I see it. It makes so much sense to me, but other people are saying, "Ah, that's too idealistic," but it's such a natural law. It makes so
I
much
agree.
sense,
I agree. And me too.
Mhm.
And if we can find enough people that do that, and also get ourselves to be very more inspiring to them, where
Absolutely.
just people, there's the force of nature which are written in there. We can influence more people, and you can do more to implement making changes yourself.
Yeah.
You'll be wanted to be elected into office because people like your leadership. They think you're a great leader, but you know what you're doing. You're really trying to make other people lead themselves.
Hmm.
And
And
just one other thing, guys. Bill, you probably can answer. When they say Hamilton America in this, that's the idealistic world,
That
right?
is
That we
that
want to
is
live in, right?
yeah. That is the 12 Visions world, the world free of initiatory force.
Okay.
and he calls it Hamilton America in the platform.
That's
I
really clear.
I think it causes some marketing distractions with people misinterpreting that for, oh well, it's not all about Mark Hamilton. Well, you call it Hamilton America, it seems like it could be, but when you read the whole platform, you could plug that any word you want in there. Just
Yeah.
country B, instead of
Yeah.
America, you have
Seems like
America.
he was egotistical by using his name.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
seems
you
that way.
Hamilton,
you could just substitute prime law America or force free America.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly,
you know.
exactly. Just read it in that way, and tell me you don't get excited. Tell me you don't see the potential there.
But the other way to look at it is this is the world that Mark Hamilton conceived.
Yeah, it is.
It's
And
like he's the discoverer, so why shouldn't he be able to put his name on it?
it's true.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with people's
And
creation?
this is just an idea. He's not saying here, oh, we're gonna, as soon as we get the prime law, we're gonna call it Hamilton America. That is not what he's saying.
Right.
It's still gonna be America as long as the idea of countries and nations continue to exist.
Right.
Which is, we could talk about that also, but we'll save that for a future show.
We have
Yeah.
on other shows. So
Yeah, we have
look
talked about it in other shows. So just if you watch the shows, you'll see some of what our thinking on that is. I mean, to me, the 12 Visions movement is not just for America; it's for the entire world, and it's a way to bring us all together. Whereas right now, we're all kind of pushed apart.
Yeah, and it's so cool. It's so stimulating, and
Yeah.
people are right next to each other. We're all together in this, whether it's reality, and we have these illusions that are giving us all these
Mhm.
fears and all this, and this just cuts through the chase and just
Yep.
allows it to be protection only, not subjective things, which
And-
gives us fear reasonably.
Quite literally, with today's technology, even if two people are standing on opposite sides of the globe, they're still right next to each other.
It really
Okay.
is.
And in regards to the 12 Visions world, Bill and Sage,
Mhm.
the 12 Visions Party is a grassroots movement, all right? And that's where the 12 Visions come from. They come from the 12 Visions Party. They represent the 12 Visions Party. Is that true?
Well,
Do people read all this?
the 12. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sage.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. The 12 Visions were a concept of Mark Hamilton, a concepts within the literature that we were talking about that he discovered
Okay.
and organized of the future with initiatory force removed and also people taking full self-responsibility, removing mysticism. And the conditions to set a world up where people that have those 12 visions unanimously is in a 12 visions world where the prime law is in place. And the
Right.
12 Visions Party is all
Yeah,
about
that's
putting
what
the
I
prime
want.
law in place. That's
Okay, but that's represented by the 12 Visions, right? That's why he called it the 12 Visions Party.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right.
Because
And vision.
because the purpose of the 12 Visions Party is to create the 12 Visions world.
Okay, that's where I was getting at.
Right.
Okay.
And you could replace the 12 Visions world with, well, I don't know all the visions, a force-free world. a
Right.
force-free world. You could just
Right.
substitute it, just like
Right.
Bill
I
was
mean,
saying.
it's a world based on cooperation rather than coercion.
Yeah, and when you're telling people, Harry, you got great questions, and I feel
Yes.
like with your wife and anybody outside looking in,
Yes,
me
that's what
myself
we
too.
need to do.
Yeah, my family, they question that. They're like, why do they call it 12 visions? I don't know the 12 visions. That sounds kind of religious or
Yeah, really.
and I
Yeah.
understand. I agree. I can
I
see
agree.
that. And as a
I've
marketer, I know, like, why don't you call it even the Prime Law Party, or you, Bill, you had even great ideas. Force-free
Party, even.
force-free party. And that would make our jobs a lot easier, you know.
Yeah, 12 Visions
I mean,
Party is a little obscure,
I mean,
to
I've
say the
but you know,
least.
I've said in a few places that that I wish Mark Hamilton had not presented these ideas as visions,
I agree.
and that's
I
the
agree.
word that creates religious connotations, makes you think, oh, what was he? You know, did he take a mushroom and have a you know, no, he thought about this for a long time, and then wrote out what he thought about.
Yeah, exactly. And
As far as I understand it, of course, I wasn't there with him,
right.
but that's what he says in the book, that he thought about it and he wrote it out. I just think it's unfortunate he chose to present it as visions rather than present it some other way.
Yeah, right. Like 12 concepts, you know, or things like that.
Yeah, 12 ideas or.
Well, but right. Yep.
Because basically the 12 visions just describe 12 different aspects of this world where there's no initiatory force and where everyone is a self-leader and takes 100% responsibility for everything, everything they do, and
Yeah. But it's at least it wasn't the 12 commandments. That would have been
Right.
worse.
Yeah, because we need to make a simple way of marketing what these things are, what Neothink is, what 12
You're
Visions
right.
Party is,
Yeah,
12
sum it up
Visions
as-
World. We need to
Yeah.
make it simple so people will understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I just went through a relationship and she never got it. I talked to her. It was a 2-year relationship, and every time I would tell her, it just was, well, I don't understand it fully. And I was like, yeah, I hear you. It should be so like simpler. When you say visions and things like that, it gets people confused, and most people are so far in left field that you
Yeah,
gotta
really.
give them building blocks to get there. You know.
Yeah, especially when you say 12 visions.
I know.
Then you got to say, oh, well, these are the 12 visions.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? And then people get confused and they get lost.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Interesting. Very
It's
interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes, and also I wanted to mention that that during the interview that I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I did, I listed the 12 visions because they asked about them.
Yeah, they were even making
And-
fun. I listened to the
Well, they
show.
weren't making fun, but they they did have that. I mean, basically, as I went through the visions, they were okay until I got to stop aging,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is a difficult idea for some people. I mean, because people don't want to live,
Yeah.
for a long time in the world we have right now. And
Exactly.
I don't want to live for a long time in the world we have right now either.
I don't either.
They have a disbelief also, though, that's never been done before. So it's
Right.
naturally they have no, it's a hard vision to grasp because
It's a
nobody-
natural
and then
disconnect. It's a disconnect, a natural disconnect. Yeah.
And then the other idea they got caught on was become a genius.
Yeah, they kind of made fun of that. a
Because
little bit.
you're saying they made fun of it. I'm saying they questioned it.
Yeah. There was a long pause, though, Bill.
Right. But the point is that, we're taught and people think that being a genius is just, oh, you got born with the right brain. Not something, not that you could learn ideas and tools and concepts that help you be able to increase your ability to think and
Yes.
create ideas.
Right. You're born a genius.
Yeah,
You're
you
born
look
a genius, and that's it.
Right,
Try to look
exactly.
You have it or you don't. You have it or you don't.
If you look
Right.
at
Yeah.
Tim Cook, though, Tim Cook, who took over Apple, and they're giving him accolades now because he's getting accomplishments. He came out with the Apple Watch. I don't know too much about him, but it makes me think of that he developed himself to become a genius. He's following in the footsteps of Steve Jobs, which are hard. It's a hard shadow to come out of.
Right.
And he's implementing a lot of tools, same
Mhm.
things that are making him like his mind is on a different level.
Mhm.
It's becoming a
I mean,
genius.
this is part of the technology, the progression of technology, because basically we're being able to they're being able to produce more and more capability in smaller and smaller packages.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 70s, a mini computer looked like a mini fridge, and
Yeah.
in the 60s, a computer filled a whole room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, we had the PC revolution where you could put a computer on your desk,
Yeah.
and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then in the early 2000s, we had the progression to tablets. It started in the 90s, and so then you had a computer you could hold in your two hands like a book.
Yeah. Right.
And then we had the smartphone revolution, which is basically a computer you can hold in one hand.
Yeah.
And now we have the smartwatch, which is a computer you can wear on your wrist.
Yeah.
Pretty soon the computer's going to be a piece of jewelry that you wear that you can interface with. A little piece of jewelry.
Right. And the concepts and integrations that I'm seeing from individuals like becoming geniuses, you say, they're breaking bounds. A lot of them they're so creative, coming out with little integrations that in their own way are becoming geniuses. And if you take that consistently to the nth degree, they're a genius.
Right. And unfortunately, when we're educated, when we go through school, we're pretty much taught that geniuses are rare. They're
Yeah.
few.
Yeah.
And that you're not a genius. That's basically what you're taught. It's rare.
And actually, their method of grading you and going is not how a genius's mind operates. So it's a contradiction. And
it's memorization rather than
integration.
Rather than learning how to bring reality and put it together in different ways. That's creativity.
Yeah. Right.
You have the ability to grow into becoming a genius.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you're born with or not born with. You can become a genius. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point.
You're going to prove it, Harry.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. And
I wish you would tell my wife that. I thought I am a genius, but she don't think so.
She'll tell herself that. One day.
This has been really stimulating, guys.
Yes, it has. And we're gonna move on to the third segment of the show, which we've missed a lot in recent shows, which is how you can help create the 12 Visions world. And we've gone over the ideas here in many episodes. I'm not going to repeat the list again because we've talked about it over and over. Let's talk generally about what we're doing. Now, number one, of course, we're doing it right now. We're with this show. We're sharing the ideas and concepts. We're sharing our enthusiasm for it and our passion for it. And we're basically letting people know that this is, it's not like I'm somebody special as a PhD in political science or psychology or sociology or something. I'm an ordinary person. I have very little college education, but yet I'm able, because of the tools and techniques in the Neothink literature, I'm able to bring ideas together and be creative, and I created this show myself. And that's proof of, the idea that you could. And people have found these things on their own, as we've discussed.
Yes, right.
And
this is just a nice hub where you can get access to it, a little, organized in one place.
Yep.
They just brought in all these ideas and concepts together, and added a few that, and improved on ideas, because there have been time management ideas for a long time. But then we have the Power Thinking Mini-Day system, which is, I think, an improvement over your standard time management.
I agree. Yeah.
And so we're not talking about things that come way out of left field. We're talking about ideas that have been brought together and integrated.
Yes. Um, and so that's one thing we are doing. It's
Right, and this show is one thing we were doing. There's also many other people doing things. People are doing online clubhouses. Um, People are and they're having events like you, Sage, and Larry and Bob last year put together the in cooperation with Steve Fagan and put together the NeoThink Summit last year.
So there's
which was a big success, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So
we're already working on the next one. So
that's what we're doing, right? All the things that we're doing and working on, and I'm working on converting this show into a podcast so that people can put it in their MP3 players and listen to it wherever they go. They won't have to have a computer with a screen.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's nice seeing our pretty faces, but
time is money, and people are needing time and money. So,
but mainly this is an audio thing because we're just talking. It's not like we're showing pictures and graphs and all that. We're just talking. We're just talking about these ideas and concepts, and so I think audio is the best way to produce it. In fact, once I get the podcast going, that's going to be the thing that people are going to be pledging money to support on Patreon.
That's awesome.
It's the podcast because basically this show, what we're doing right now is going to become a way of producing that podcast, which a lot of other people in other areas do already. In fact, last night I was watching and participating by chatting in a show called O'Reilly Radio, which I had the was able to co-host once in the past, and and they are doing what I plan to do eventually with this show is they were basically creating a podcast, but having a live show that people could participate in the meantime. So that's what we're doing, but the main thing everybody can do is just talk about these ideas.
Yeah, and apply them to your life for you, and share them. Share them around. Don't forget who brought you to the party.
Right, exactly. and tell people where you found these ideas.
Yeah. And, so I continue to apply them in my life, and I continue as you develop yourself. You also would love to have the conditions around and the environment to be the way you'd like them to be, and not dangerous, not miserable for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the 12 Visions Party is there. Look in your state. They have a national change. It's 12 Visions Party. Google them. Dave Dakota is heading it up right now. You can find his contact details. You can contact us on this show. We'll get you contact details of what you need. And you can see how it can help you. And if you want to contribute anything in time, energy, anything like that, helping, giving ideas, it's open. It's a movement that's grassroots, and it's happening, and it's growing.
Yeah, guys, this is for real. This is real. This is really real what we're talking about. I just hope we dispelled all the rumors about NeoThink being a scam and all that. You can really learn and grow from using the tools of NeoThink, because I've grown, and I will continue to support the NeoThink Society, the show, the 12 Visions Party, and I will be handing out information to people wherever I go, and that's the best way to do it, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. We're approaching our time, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up now. I want to thank Sage Katakura for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great being here talking with you again.
And I also want to thank Harry Dolgen for joining me today and asking excellent questions. Thank you very much, Harry.
I think we converted all the abstract ideas and thoughts and converted them to the concrete ideas. So it was a very high content show, in my opinion.
Excellent.
And I also want to thank anyone who sees this show, whether they see it live or watch the recording, and and I welcome your feedback, which I will explain now. If you have any questions, please send them to cnwshow@gmail.com. Also, comments and ideas about how to improve the show. I will welcome any ideas and incorporate the ones I feel best help us. Excuse me. You can see previous episodes at www.tocreateanewworld.blogspot.com. You can like us on Facebook. Just search for CNW Show. Also join our Google Plus community, also CNW Show. And you can support the show by telling your family and friends about it. You can also support the show by going to www.patreon.com/creatinganewworld and pledging $1 or more an episode. All opinions expressed on the show are the sole responsibility of the individual participants and do not represent the Neothink Society, the 12 Visions Party, or author Mark Hamilton. Creating a New World is a production of Integrated Values, LLC. I wish everyone wealth, health, peace, love, and freedom.